Hey guys, welcome to another vlog. My name's Danny and I'm the owner of Amber & Oak, which is a candle business, and I love to show you the behind the scenes of owning that candle business and kind of just sharing my inner thoughts, my experiences, my tips and tricks with you here on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you stopping by. And I wanted to start this vlog kind of just chatting with you guys about like what's been on my mind and what's been going on lately. So thank you for listening. I have a couple different things going on. I'm actually pretty busy, and I think maybe in a previous vlog I've said this. I feel very lucky to be busy as a candle maker in this time of year because typically the spring and the summer are not the busiest months compared to fall and winter for us candle makers. So I feel super blessed, and I've been working really hard to get to this place where I have a lot of different wholesale and custom private label orders going on right now. And I also am working on my own summer collection, which I'm hoping to launch in the next 2 weeks. I have 6 different scents for my summer collection, and I don't always do 6 scents for a seasonal collection, but that does seem to be the sweet spot as far as numbers go. I'm looking at some of them right now. I have some of them finished on the shelves. I have like a shelving unit that is for my finished candles, and then I have a bakery rack back there, which I'll have curing candles on, candles I'm not finished with, candles that need to be fixed if I like over poured a little bit and need to like get some wax out of it with the heat gun, all of that. So I have, I think, 2 more scents to pour for this collection, and I've been able to do this faster than I thought because I kind of gave myself a time crunch period where I realized I have 2 other fun summer scents I want to add, but they're not part of this collection. So part of being a candle maker, any kind of small business maker that has products that they're releasing, especially seasonal products. Did I say especially wrong? I don't know how I said especially. Especially seasonal products, you kind of just have to time these releases out, or at least you feel like you need to time these releases out at a specific time. One, for the convenience of people shopping, right? So if I'm like, I kind of feel like a jerk if I release one big new collection and then the next week I have something else new. Like they could have had that shipped together. They could have been released together. So like lumping things together if it makes sense, or spreading things out if that makes sense as well. So with this summer collection of the 6 candles, I'll be releasing that hopefully in the next 2 weeks. And then for the 2 other surprise summer scents that I'll have coming after that, I'll spread that out into June a little bit further. But I want to leave space for when my next thing is going to drop, right? So you're thinking about fall, you're thinking about all of those scents and what's coming always as a candle maker, especially with testing and all of that. Still in the phases of production as far as summer collection goes. I am hoping to be taking pictures of some of these candles this weekend or early next week, and then I can work on editing the pictures and drafting the listings on Shopify. I have really loved the switch from Etsy to Shopify. I haven't really talked about this so much on YouTube since making the Etsy versus Shopify video, but I mean, I honestly am at a point where I feel like I'm bringing in enough of my own customers from social media that I love having my own website, and I feel confident having that. And I've grown since moving from Etsy to Shopify. Just things are so fishy on Etsy these days from what I'm hearing that I think it's only great if you're first starting out and you need that marketplace aspect of it. But essentially, if you feel like you can do some strong branding and advertising and marketing and connecting with your community and your customer base on social media, I think you should try that as well and have your own site, whether it's Shopify or something else. It's been really great. I still am not an expert at Shopify. I'm still learning all the things. I'm still learning about email marketing, still learning about like certain tools and apps as a part of Shopify. Like I would love to figure out the subscription apps. If anyone out there has a really good subscription app. So for my candle subscription club, the Storylight Society, I just had them pay in advance, which actually worked really well because I was able to know exactly how many spots that I needed to fill and how many labels to order. So that may be how I do it again next year when I open it up to more members next or this December. But I was kind of struggling with, I think it was called Paywhirl. It's an app that Shopify offers, and I was kind of like struggling to find the right structure that I wanted for a quarterly subscription for candles. So that's kind of why I just took payment in advance for that. But the benefits to having a subscription app, I think, is like people are able to add on and people are able to take off if they want to skip a month. So if I ever did like a candle of the month club where it was more frequent, I want people to have the option to skip a month. If I'm doing quarterly, just 4 candles a year, I probably wouldn't do that. It would just maybe be the structure I have now, but just some things that I'm thinking of. So I'll get into some candle making with you later on in the vlog, but I wanted to just be a little chatty now and talk about the autumn candles that are on my mind. I know it's May, but it's something that I've learned from years of being in this business is that it is so helpful, especially if you're doing this by yourself, to figure out your blends way in advance. And I know Candle Science is coming out with some more blends that are maybe holiday, and I think there was like an autumn one in there. I think it was like apple and acorn or something like that. I can't wait to try that. But yeah, it's always smart to think in advance because you never know with your testing what's going to come up, and you might have to switch your fragrance blend idea for the scent and the name of the candle that you're coming out with for fall. And you never want to be coming down to the line and rushing, especially if this is your first time launching a collection ever and it's going to be in fall. I would start to think about those fall fragrance oils and think about what you're going to release for fall. So that's what I've been doing lately on top of pouring the summer collection. It gives me peace of mind to know what I'm doing and have it figured out in advance. So I will probably have 6 autumn scents, and I'm gonna mix, I think, some Halloween scents in with those 6. So some are gonna be your fall scents, fun daytime fall scents, and there's gonna be a couple spooky ones mixed in. And then I might do a separate collection. Actually, I definitely am doing, I already have things planned. I just wanna keep it close to my heart right now, but I have a separate collection planned that I was going to release as a spooky summer collection, but I'm actually going to hold it, I think, and release it in late September or October. So I'm kind of planning out the timing of my releases. I never know exactly when. It does take a lot longer a lot of the time than I think it's going to have everything ready to go. But something that I've been doing is blending and sniffing fragrance oil. So I'm trying a new supplier for the first time. I've never tried anything from Little Bee, but my bestie Julia from Ember Pines loves Little Bee. Megan from Well Red Candle Co. has sent me some Little Bee sniffer blotter strips. Like, she sent them in the mail to me. If you're watching, I know you're probably watching, Megan. I love you. Thank you so much for sending me some samples, because it kind of walked me into the door of Little Bee, where I was like, let's see if I can try some oils in my wax and see how it performs, and maybe some of these oils can work their way into my blends in the future for my candles. So I reached out to Marsha from Little Bee Scents, and she kindly sent me some fragrance oils to try and share with you guys. I got a big box, so let's go through them right now. Okay, I just want to say, this being my first time trying Little Bee, there's a lot of really cute add-ons that Marsha and her team threw in here. There's some matches with a cute little bee on it, and I don't know if I took them out already and put them somewhere. Where are those little... Oh, here they are. Oh my gosh, I thought this was adorable. A little pom-pom bee. It's the little things. This is a small business, and you can really tell from the descriptions of these oils, the branding, everything on Little Bee's website, how much thought and creativity goes into these oils and everything that they offer. I believe they also have something I was looking into. I forgot what they call it. I think they call it a pollinator. And I think it's a diffuser that you can use Little Bee oils in to diffuse the scent through the air as an alternative to burning a candle. So that's something that I would be interested in trying in the future. But I wanted to try their oils for my candles first. They all came in an individual bag, so there's absolutely no mess, there's no spills. And I had quite a list that I wanted to try because there's so many cool scents that just seem a little bit different than what I've seen out there from all the suppliers that I've tried. So This is the lavender leaf. I've tried lavender fragrance oil from many different suppliers, and this is the toughest one to get to smell like the real thing, in my opinion. And I will be honest, a lot of these fragrance oil reviews on here that I do are first impressions. I immediately opened this box and smelled every single oil once I got it. So it's kind of going to be like a revisitation of my initial reactions and opinions on them, because I couldn't wait. I really couldn't. I'm sorry, but I still want to share my thoughts with you. And the lavender leaf by Little Bee, I'm 100% honest right now. This is the closest thing to a real lavender essential oil in a fragrance oil form. It smells like I just took a bottle of lavender essential oil and opened it, but a little bit less like in your face medicinal. It smells like the real thing. It's very calming. If I were to create a lavender blend that was more spa-like and geez, anything with lavender and wanting a real true lavender scent, lavender leaf out of bottle is exactly what I would go to. No joke, has been the most realistic lavender fragrance oil. It's been so tough to find one, and I love this. Next one here is Black Rose and Oud. I love any dark, deep floral mixed with a wood. And to me, I really do smell like those wet rose floral notes. It's almost like a petrichor feel, but definitely very woody. It's a perfect blend of feminine and masculine. Really nice and seems really strong out of the bottle. So curious to know how that does in wax. There's also a couple of these little vials. Oh my gosh, am I glad, because I've heard amazing things about Bougie Bee and I totally forgot that one. So she did not want me to miss out. And it's amazing. I don't even know how to describe it. It's so pretty, it's earthy, but it's fresh at the same time. It's not like damp earthy, it's pretty earthy. I feel like I might smell some like musky citrus in there too. Yeah, I love this. Bougie Bee is beautiful. I also got a little vial of their petrichor, which is a pretty petrichor. Smells like dirt, smells like rain. I would combine this with Rainy Days and Mondays, which is also in this box. I have so many different candles in my collections that have petrichor notes in them, or like damp earth notes in them. I absolutely love blending petrichor like scents in to ground my scents. So it's gonna be tempting to not have to use another, add another, right? I'm trying to look for Rainy Days and Mondays for you right now. Here you are. Rainy Days and Mondays. The cutest name. Seriously adorable. To me, I'm getting like some bergamot in there, some floral notes, but also that petrichor. I think that bergamot, and I don't know if it's in there or not, that's just what my nose is picking up. It's making it more fresh and realistic compared to like a soapy rain fragrance oil. It's really nice. I really can't wait to try that. I think I'll just make myself a candle with that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I took the ring off. I was washing my hands, but I'm engaged and we are starting to plan our wedding, and I'm trying to, I'm like spilling it because I've opened it before, so it's kind of getting on me, but I am trying to think of what wedding favor candle scent we want for our wedding. And this one is a contender right here. It is Ginger Jack. Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed. I am so in love. It's cinnamon, it's ginger, there's spice, but it's sweet. And you get the apple note in there, but it's perfectly balanced. And I don't know, I might do something for my fall collection with Ginger Jack. I highly recommend that, just based out of my sniffing it out of bottle. I use pure soy wax, so I definitely am curious to see what the throw is with some of these fragrance oils. Always, like, while trying a new supplier, you always want to test, or a new oil or any kind of new combination. And then we have neroli and basil. I remember loving this one. Gosh, I am obsessed. I want this as a soap. like a hand soap for the kitchen. It is so refreshing and bright and earthy at the same time. I really smell the true basil notes in neroli and basil. Then we have Bee Balm. I could not pass this up because some of these Little Bee scents have, well, a lot of them are like gardeny. A lot of them are very nature-based, and I've never seen a Bee Balm fragrance oil. I actually don't know what Bee Balm smells like. I've always wanted to plant it in my garden, but I haven't yet. But it smells very like herbal medicine. Yeah, very holistic medicinal. It could also be blended into like maybe some sort of, like if you're looking to represent an herbal tea in your candle blend, I can see this working. It's a very pleasant, natural, kind of a little bright citrusy herbal blended fragrance oil. It's not too overly like flowery at all. It's really nice. And then we have the Palo Santo, which if I remember when I smelled this, I was like, this is the best one I've smelled. It's actually giving some slight like licorice base notes, like the real thing. That's at least what my nose picks up on. And you have like a little bit of, it almost seems like there's vanilla or some sweetness or amber in the base notes of the Palo Santo fragrance oil. And then we have hollow inside. This one has a picture of like a jack-o'-lantern on the website listing, and it smells like Halloween night. It really does. You get the spice in there. There's like patchouli. There's like orange. It's something mysterious, and this is absolutely perfect for anything Halloween related. I have ideas for this for possibly some of my candles coming up, or not some, one of my candles coming up, but I want to test it. Hollow inside, but highly recommend you get those pumpkin like flesh notes in there too. It's like pumpkin, patchouli, a little bit of citrus spice, and almost like anise in there. It's mysterious. There's definitely some dark tones in there, but it smells like earthy and natural at the same time, which I love. Then we have Book Nook, which I will always try a book themed fragrance oil. I have a candle called Hidden Library where I created a 3 oil blend to smell like paper and pages and parchment and books and leather and wood shelves. And it took me a while to blend and test to achieve that, because I feel like some of the like leathery book scented fragrance oils are just like super leather heavy in my opinion. And that's because everyone's nose is different and scent is subjective, and you always have like your own idea of like what you want that scent to really like represent, and that was what I wanted. So when I first smelled Book Nook, I smell a lot of leather notes. Like this is giving leather bound. I do get a little parchment in there, but to me it smells very leathery and a little bit of wood. But I think I'm just partial to my own blend for Hidden Library. So I think like whenever I smell like a book fragrance oil, I'm like, it needs a little of this, needs a little of that, because I spent a lot of time like fine-tuning it to have like all the notes I want in it, and that's something that you can do too with a base like that. The next oil is Let Us Pray, and I had to try this because it's supposed to smell like lettuce. At least the picture is of lettuce. And to me, I'm gonna be real honest here, I'm getting like cucumber notes, because I have a garden, like I have some raised cedar beds in a greenhouse right now, and I just pulled some lettuce, and it does give lettuce notes, but to my nose, it smells more like a fresh cucumber in a garden. I'm getting some cucumber melon notes, but it's not like directly a cucumber melon fragrance oil. I'm just getting those types of top notes, I guess, from the liquid out of the bottle right now. Yeah, and it's a very fresh, gardeny scent. I don't know what I expected for lettuce, because does lettuce really have a strong smell? Not really. So I think that is like the closest you can get to lettuce. Then here we have the Oh Pumpkin fragrance oil. And when I picked this out, I didn't realize it had like, it doesn't say it in the notes, I don't think, but I think in the description it says like pumpkin beer. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna like that one because of the beer. But I love it. It is fantastic. delicious, gourmand, a little bit of spice in there, and a whole lot of pumpkin. This was really cool to find. Very specific hope chest. If you don't know what a hope chest is, I just learned about them in the last 2 years because my fiance and I picked up a Lane hope chest for our house, and it was vintage. It smelled beautiful inside from cedar, and I had to try the hope chest fragrance oil because there is a candle in my upcoming like possible October launch that I may need this for. So it smells like a cedar chest. It really does, and it's very masculine. So even if you're looking for something more woody, masculine, almost like, I don't want to say aftershave, gentleman's closet, mix a little cigar smoke in there. And then we have another little bottle here. Oh my goodness. Mystic Leaf is absolutely phenomenal out of bottle. And this, yeah, I don't need to keep saying that this is my out of bottle first impressions. I haven't tested any of these out, but gosh, it is so mysterious. And there's like herbal notes. There's, I almost feel like, sorry, I'm like breathing really heavily. I don't know, like, I don't know if I'm smelling stuff on my finger from the last oil, but it's almost like vanilla blended with like a little bit of musk, and I almost want to say maybe a little citrus. I don't know. This feels like a more complex blend, and it's absolutely beautiful. It feels like a fairy made it, like a green witch that's living in the woods made this oil. You got to try it. If you love earthy but fresh scents, you must try Mystic Leaf. Then we have bergamot and hinoki. I believe I love this one as well. Spot on. Bergamot, sunny, fresh, citrusy, like fresh breath of air. This one is really uplifting. It's very like an aromatherapy type of oil. This makes me feel happy when I smell it. I think it's beautiful. Hinoki, bergamot and hinoki. Then we have pumpkin pie. Had to try all the pumpkins as I'm prepping for fall candles, and pumpkin pie smells really good. It smells like a pumpkin pie. It's a little, you got that like bakery bread notes in it as well, like the crust, I guess, like golden, and then you get a hint of spice. It actually smells like a lot of spice out of the bottle, and that warm pumpkin as well. It's not like crazy in your face, like sickly heavy pumpkin. It's nice. It's on like a more balanced kind of scale of a pumpkin pie. I think like the spice and the fresh pumpkin notes balance it out, so it's not like overly gourmand to me out of bottle at least. Then I had to try the tomato scent. This is heirloom tomato. I'm very, very impressed because I've smelled so many tomato fragrance oils and they all smell like tomato leaf or tomato vine, which I freaking love. I love the smell of tomato vine when you rub it between your fingers. I will sniff that all day after gardening. It reminds me of my grandma, and my grandma grew tomatoes, and it just reminds me of being back in her garden. So that's a very nostalgic scent for me. So I guess I expected this to smell like that, but this heirloom tomato to me out of bottle smells like the flesh and the inside of a tomato, which I feel like is so hard to represent. I get the vine notes, I do, but it's not as heavy with those like stark herbal notes. I do smell the flesh and the red inside of a tomato from the garden. Blend this with a little bit of petrichor or garden dirt fragrance oil, and you've got a tomato scent, like a real tomato scent. All right, let's get into the next one. We have mango peach tea, which literally smells exactly like the name. It smells like you can drink it. It smells very realistic to me. Sometimes those peach fragrance oils can be a little fake. This one smells really fresh and it's not overly sweet. The tea notes ground it. And then we have pumpkin latte, another pumpkin one. This one's a little softer in the way where it's like sweeter and more creamy. I don't smell heavy coffee notes. If you're thinking about, say, if you've ever smelled Candle Science's coffee, fresh coffee, that one is like a roasted coffee bean, right? I actually smell more of like the pumpkin and the cream. than any coffee. I'm actually not even sure. I didn't look at the notes and see if there was coffee in there. I'm just assuming because pumpkin latte would be coffee. But it's had to try the radish fragrance oil. Will say I just harvested a bunch of radishes from my garden beds, and radish has a very distinct smell and taste. And this doesn't really smell directly like a radish to me. That's just my personal like nose. But it smells nice. It definitely reminds you of it. It's got a little of that spice to it. It smells really fresh and definitely like something out of the garden. Maybe I need to put it in wax and burn it to actually get the true radish notes. Just being real with you guys, I will tell you my honest opinions. If I like something, I don't like something. I don't think I've not liked any of these fragrance oils or like been like, ooh, that doesn't smell good. I'm just giving you my honest thoughts. And this is elderflower. Oh, it smells so pretty. It smells like musky, citrusy, floral. It's a nice blend. It's not overly floral. It's pretty. It's pretty without being too cloying at all. Not cloying at all, in my opinion. Elderflower. I would totally blend that with something maybe even more green for summer. And honestly, even on its own, it's really beautiful. Invigorating, refreshing. We also have hydrangea. I love hydrangeas so much. I want to grow them, but we have a lot of deer here that eat them up once they start to grow. And that smells so pretty. This one is more of a true floral fragrance oil. Some green notes in there, but that's a hydrangea. I have the hydrangea soap from Mrs. Meyer's in my bathroom right now, and I love it. I think I prefer florals in soap products rather than candles. Like for candles, I never think of burning a floral scent personally. So I would use hydrangea in like a different type of product. Then we have mulled cider. Megan from Well Read Candle Co. also sent me a sniffer. I keep saying sniffer. When I say sniffer, I mean blotter strip. I love it. I love all the mulled cider fragrance oils. This one's really, really nice. It feels like the real thing. Smells like the real thing, even out of bottle, which gives me a lot of confidence in putting it in wax. It just feels like it's going to just warm up even more and smell very true to a mulled cider type of beverage. It's balanced, it's got those fruit notes in it and the spice notes, and it's very warming. Also needed to try Brome Hay. Is that how you say this? Brome Hay. Always looking for a hay fragrance oil. Oh my goodness, this is spot on. Spot on. Hay fields, a little bit of dirt. Looking for a country themed candle. You need to try Brome Hay. It's definitely something that would make an amazing blender. If you love the scent on its own, I'm sure it'd be great on its own as well, but I plan to play around with that one. Green tea and patchouli. This is really, really beautiful. Very earthy. You definitely get the tea notes, which I feel like I haven't smelled a lot of really good green tea fragrance oils. And then the patchouli. It's a perfect blend. It really is. And it would be a great blender to add some depth and earthy notes to your oil. I don't know what else you would combine it with, but just say you want to add that earthy note without going the petrichor route, you can do green tea and patchouli, and that would give you that like grassiness to it. We have Happy Camper. Ooh, this one smells like you're camping. You get all the notes at once. This is probably the one that I'm most confused about out of bottle because I'm like, ooh, I don't know what I'm smelling. But I smell like firewood. I smell the great outdoors. I smell that green, and I smell like a little bit of smoke from like a bonfire. I almost feel like I smell bug spray too. You know, I smell like a little bit of that lemony note, like lemongrass maybe. And then we have Santal and Vetiver. I don't know if I remember loving this one. Let me see. Okay. It smells like something familiar to me that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why it smells like cucumber to me. I think my nose is messed up. Maybe I haven't sniffed too many things, but I did sniff this the other day when I first got the package, and it's not my fave. I need to look at the notes, so I'm not really giving a really great I guess, description of Santal and vetiver, but I think it's the vetiver I'm getting more of, which I guess it's kind of polarizing to me. Vetiver, because I have the essential oil, and I sometimes like it, sometimes don't. So I think this is a personal thing for me. If you like that earthiness of vetiver, then you will probably like this. Then we have Apple Orchard, which is a really nice apple scent. It's not one of those apple scents that smells kind of like fake and more like top note sweet apple. It's got some base notes in there that almost smell mapley. Like it reminds me of apples and maple bourbon a little bit, but more fresh, crisp appley. It just has these like maple seeming notes in it that ground it a little more, which makes me feel like it's going to be a good thrower as far as putting it into the format of a candle. I would not sleep on trying the Mystic Leaf or the Bougie Bee fragrance oils from Little Bee if you want something truly unique and different that you haven't smelled before. This was my first impressions, second impressions, because I did sniff them out of the box when I first got them. But these are my thoughts that I'm sharing with you about Little Bee. This is my first time ever trying this supplier, and I cannot wait to experiment with them in wax. If you don't already, follow me over on Instagram. If I have any other thoughts about some of these Little Bee oils, I will definitely be sharing them on Instagram with you guys in stories and stuff like that. So thank you for watching this portion of the video. Thank you again to Marsha from Little Bee for sending me all these oils to try and share with all of you guys. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna end this portion on right now. I am going to move on to making some candles, working on some candles with you in the next few clips. So I'm starting with a batch of Sea Siren, and this is a very crisp, watery, ozonic scent that I have brought back a few summers in a row now. I love doing like a little spooky spin on a summer collection or a mythical folklore kind of spin on summer scents. I don't know what it is about it, but I end up doing something like that every summer for my candles. But this season, I decided to do a general theme for my summer collection, and I think my biggest piece of advice as far as kind of drawing inspiration for a collection would be to pick a theme for a collection, no matter what season, or even if it's not like a seasonal based collection. I think it's really helpful and gives you a great starting place if you're able to pick a general theme for a collection, and then you can base each scent off of that idea. And I love doing that. I found it makes it a lot easier, it's more fun, and is more immersive. And you can do this in the most simple way too. It doesn't have to be an elaborate storytelling thing like I do. You can seriously just pick maybe like a scent category or something like summer fresh scents, and that might generalize it enough where it gives you an idea of where to start when you're at the drawing board, at the blank slate, wondering, what is my summer collection going to be? What is my fall collection going to be? What do I want someone to feel or smell when they open up this jar? I am wicking all of the jars. I'm doing a semi-small batch for this scent because I just don't have a ton of oils for it, but I also need to clear off some of the candles I poured last night. And yes, I think it was yesterday, last night, I don't know. The days are all blending into each other at this point, but I did that while I was waiting for the wax to melt. And at this point, I'm like periodically checking my melter to see if it's done heating or not. But I would always recommend, if you have a digiboil or a 2-auto melter, some sort of tall wax melter that you can't see inside of, to always check the top, because more than likely you'll find that there's a hardened layer at the top that didn't melt. And you can see me like hitting my elbow, like trying to poke a hole through this top batch of wax that just doesn't melt. The bottom will melt sometimes and then almost burn. So I always recommend getting on a step stool and checking your wax melter and seeing what's going on. Take a peek under the hood, see what's going on in there. A lot of the times all you need to do is poke a hole and you can get that wax to fall to the bottom and blend in with the melted wax. Sometimes it's just a temperature thing. I'm not really sure exactly why it happens, but it sucks. It's kind of annoying, and I oftentimes will just splash wax all over my hair, face, outfit. That way it's part of the job, but I am pouring some of that wax into the pitcher now. I don't have the most ideal setup over here for the 2 auto melter yet. I haven't had really much time to kind of set that up. I really don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I ran out of counter space, to be honest, so I just set up another pitcher underneath to catch any of the drips from that spout, and then I will just like save that wax because it's perfectly good wax. Something I love to do while I pour candles is listen to podcasts. I'll watch a show. There's a TV across from me, so I can turn the TV on. I can even hook my Beats headphones up to it, or I will listen to a friend's memo. So as I'm pouring these candles, I'm actually listening to another maker. She is chatting with me through a memo. You can see my phone propped up on the side over there. And it makes me feel less alone when I connect with other makers, especially while I'm working. Kind of feels like I have a coworker. It's nice to do that, and I know that you guys also feel the same when you watch my videos, so it's really cool. Sometimes I'll even watch other makers on YouTube while I work. It's the next morning, and I am just looking over the candles I poured last night to give you a better idea of how my process goes with soy 415 wax, which is a very finicky, tough wax to work with texture-wise. I'm going to bring you in closer and show you what my first pour looks like when I'm making a big batch of candles, where I am intentionally striving for smooth tops to reduce the amount of heat gunning that I'm doing. This is usually when I'm doing a large collection. Sometimes if I'm in a rush and I'm making a small batch of candles, I will just pour at a higher temperature where I know I'm going to have some problems with the tops and I'm going to have to use the heat gun. But if it's a smaller batch, I'm like, whatever. If I have a bunch of tasks to do that day, I will just focus on getting to the next thing. But if I have a large batches of candles, like I'm prepping for a seasonal launch with 6 different scents, I will intentionally make another pitcher and let that pitcher sit, and that will be the tops of all of the candles. And as it sits, it will cool more and more to basically almost a milkshake consistency. It can start to get pretty thick. And this may be shocking and surprising to some, but that is how I get smooth tops, or the smoothest tops that I can with my wax. It does take a lot of time waiting for that wax to cool and timing everything. And yes, I do set up my video camera and I will point it down at the pitcher and go upstairs and cook dinner or do other tasks and come back to the pour. But it is so much easier to be able to pour, go, move on. There may be some testing of other waxes coming for me. And that's why if any of you have messaged me about the wax I use, I don't recommend soy 415, especially for beginners. It just took a lot of getting used to make it work, have a good hot throw, and get the smoothest tops. Definitely much easier waxes to work with out there. One I would definitely recommend trying out if you're a beginner is soy 10. A couple different suppliers have it. Hive and Honey has soy 10, and California Candle Supply has soy 10 as well. If you're interested in trying, that one is a more user-friendly wax, and you don't have to really smooth tops too much with that, if at all. And you can see there's holes, there's cracks, there's lumps, there's bumps, and I will fill all of that in with a new pour at a way cooler temperature today. What's absolutely wonderful about this particular batch of candles is I can actually just use my Soy Light melter, which is my fastest at heating wax up, and my smallest melter that I have, because this will fit, it should fit the perfect amount of wax that I will need for my last pitcher. Like some of these, I don't know if you can see this, but they just are very persistent with the like air bubbles that the wax gets, and they just don't want to go away. So I've been like smoothing these tops over and over. But that is the soy life that I'm choosing right now. Okay, so let's just set these to the back row. And I did get a shipment in with some more warning labels. A lot of these don't have them yet because I ran out. I get my warning labels off Amazon. Let's just put these over here. There's always wax in this threading. Somehow I always drip it in there, and that is like my worst enemy of cleaning this jar. It feels so hard to get out sometimes. I guess maybe I can talk a little bit about like burnout as a small business owner right now while I label a few of these Free Spirit candles. So I'm just really not that great at setting like boundaries and routines. With myself, I do have pretty severe ADHD. So like routines, just maybe they're probably good for me to try to get into, but they don't really work out so well for me usually. I flow better when I am creating my own schedule and going with how I feel that day. And I know you might be saying like, how do you get anything done then if you're not super strict about schedule and time blocking things out? I've tried it before, it just does not work. And I've been dealing with some health issues. I've kind of briefly touched upon my mental health issues in the past, but it seeped into my physical health. So I've been dealing with some chronic things due to high anxiety. It's like damaged my GI system. So I kind of am just really thankful that I can work for myself and go around that and to get the most done when I'm feeling really good. I can really just be super productive. And to be honest, today I'm not feeling good, but I am still showing up and I have to do the work. But I did give myself a lot of the morning to hang out with my heating pad and, you know, like take supplements and relax and give myself a break, because I did work until late last night when I didn't listen to my body and my signals from my head to myself saying you should wind down and not continue to film and work last night, even though I enjoy it. That's the hard part, I think, is just I love what I do and I love being down here and I love doing this. But like any job, if you do it like I do for more than 8 hours a day, a lot of the days, it's like it becomes something, yeah, you get tired, like you get burnt out, you get physically exhausted from standing on your feet or thinking about all of the things, thinking about cost of goods and pricing and names and blends and planning and marketing and ideas and taxes and all of that. So yeah, I want to try to be better at listening to those signals from my brain and like actually following through with maybe not answering like work messages after dinner because I'll answer at any time of day, even like if I wake up in the middle of the night, and it's not healthy. And I've maybe talked about this in the fall, and the fall is when these health problems started happening, and that's when I did actually feel really overwhelmed with work. So things I guess that I'm trying to do to mitigate that is to take more breaks and to plan earlier for fall and slowly get more done in the summer so that my fall isn't as overwhelming. But I think what I found to be overwhelming was just maybe everything in the fall. I loved it. I'm so thankful and grateful, but I had like a breakdown because I felt bad that I couldn't answer everyone. And it's unfortunately something that I had to come to terms with, is like
I'm not going to always be able to answer every single message because I wouldn't have a business anymore if I was just doing that all day. I literally have to do physical work like this, and that stuff takes up a lot of time and energy on top of communicating through email, being the customer service rep as well, and connecting with people on Instagram. It would break my heart because I am getting a lot personally out of connecting with other makers, and I would like to have more social time to do that. So I don't know, maybe there's some switches that I can make. Maybe even the wax change could help me gain more time to do things like that, and things won't be as overwhelming as the season gets busier. But I just want to tell you guys to make sure to take care of yourselves. And even though you love this, whether you're making candles or soaps or whatever products you're making on your own and selling them and marketing it and just packaging and shipping them and doing all the things, make sure to take care of yourself at the same time, because it's easy to get fooled by how much you love what you do and fall into overworking yourself because you're like, oh, it doesn't feel like work, right? It doesn't feel like work because you love it. It was a hobby at first, at least it was for me. So it's hard to turn that part off in your brain and be like, nope, this is work, and work ends at this time today. Maybe it's not a routine where it's it doesn't have to be from every day at 5 work ends, right? But maybe you're switching your schedule around like I do, where some days I'm working in the morning and then I'm off in the afternoon, or I'm working all day because there's a crunch time, or some days I'm working only at night because I wanted to spend some time in the natural sunlight because that's very important for my health and my well-being, is to also get some sun. Being in the basement down here, it's if I was down here all the time, it would really affect my mental health, and I wouldn't be able to show up as well for my business or my life, my personal life, my family, my friends. And I've just been in a bit of a tough period with my symptoms lately, with physical symptoms and mental health symptoms. So a lot of the time I find an outlet with working, and this is something that takes me out of my head and takes the bad thoughts away. So it's interesting to have a boundary with that when you're like, but this helps me, but you also need time to not be on, you know what I mean? And to kind of meditate and relax and watch a show or read a book or do something that's a hobby for yourself that's just not sellable. The rest of these need to be smoothed because they have some little imperfections. This one's good. This is going to be the last one I label for now. But yeah, just a little reminder, in whatever season you're in with your business, just make sure to be careful of burning yourself out. And I feel like some signs of burnout is obviously anxiety, health problems cropping up. That would be, I guess, in the later stages. You want to avoid that. But just feeling a little agitated, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you're in a creative rut where you don't really have too many ideas. A lot of the times if I take a small break, even though it feels like I cannot physically take a break right now, there's too much going on, I can't possibly stop for a day, that day can actually lead to 3 more productive days where if you didn't take that break, those next 3 days might have been filled with you having moments of overwhelm that pushed you back more. So don't underestimate taking a break. It might actually lead to more production. Gosh, this is such a happy scent. Very excited for my customers to smell that. Some of you have asked me to do a studio tour, and trust me, it will come. I'm just not ready yet, and I'll show you, the studio the way it is in vlogs, but I guess it feels kind of final in some ways, some silly ways maybe, to post a full studio tour when things are a mess. And there's a lot that's been bothering me that I need to clean, but I haven't had time to stop and clean all of the things. So once I get it to a place where it's a little bit more organized for you guys, then I would love to make that studio tour. I appreciate your patience. I am very excited to share just every little corner or detail that you may not have seen in some of my vlogs or videos. You see most of it, I would say, and you've seen, if you've watched the video where I was organizing all my fragrance oils down here, you've seen this kind of setup. It's just like, if I look at the floor, I need to get a new scraper because there's wax all over the floor, and the heat gun, sometimes I'll use that because it's just concrete floor. So sometimes I will melt it off with the heat gun when I spill, or when these things drip all over the floor. Literally just transferring a pitcher over is like, the wax drips everywhere. So usually I'll just heat gun it, and then I'll like wipe it down. I'll use Goo Gone, I'll use water and dish soap, but it hasn't really been doing a great job lately. So I need to get like a scraper and maybe try that. But yes, all this to say, we'll have a studio tour on my channel at some point. Just don't know when. Don't want to make promises yet. And I do want to report back once I actually test batches in that kind of KitchenAid mixer knockoff that I got and showed in another video with you guys. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I did post myself unboxing it, and it is essentially literally just like a KitchenAid mixer. It's got a couple different attachments, and I want to use it to stir my fragrance oils in. And I definitely think this is a controversial thing. I've seen a couple comments, at least one on YouTube, with people who are a little confused, saying like, isn't the whole point of mixing in fragrance oil to wax, especially soy wax, to reduce the amount of air bubbles? Like, you have to be really careful. Why would you do that? I mix kind of, vigorously anyway, and it does not make a difference in my candles. So this is in no way me saying this is a good idea for you to try, but I'll be definitely sharing how it works for my wax and my candles and my application, which everyone's environment is different. Your temperature in your home is different. The fluctuations, the drafts, the speed of the machine may not even work for me. It may not mix everything up well enough, and that's why I want to make a test batch before I just start making a bunch of products with it that I'm going to sell. So yeah, I will definitely be keeping you guys in the loop about that, but just haven't had any free time to play around with it yet. I also have a brand new printer, and I've had it for months, and I haven't been able to play around with that yet either. So there's just other things that are taking priority right now, and I'm just getting through that. I'm going to be waiting for this wax to cool so that I can top off these candles from last night. And yes, I did break it into 2 different days, and that is inconvenient, but hey, this is what's working for me right now. So in the meantime, I guess a goal of mine today is to pour those and get a lot of these candles off of the surface. Yes, I can put them on my bakery rack and put them aside, but I think I want to finish them and get them on the rack over there. I'm getting ready to do my second pour for Sea Siren. This is something that I started doing over the last year or so. For a while, I was doing the double pour method wrong for my processes, and I say that because there's no right or wrong way to do a double pour. What works for me may not work for you, but what was not working for me was pouring before the first layer was able to cool and set. So what I was doing was just like pouring that really, really cool wax, almost hardened milkshake consistency wax, over something that was still kind of warm and slushy. So the first layer of the candle wasn't fully set yet, essentially. And I was doing the second pour, and I was looking for a smooth top that way, and I was not getting tops like this, which are beautiful smooth tops for Soy 415. Like, maybe not perfect texture-wise, but super smooth and unheard of. And that is because I'm waiting for them to fully set and cool first, and coming back the next day to pour that top layer, instead of pouring over wax that was still semi-warm. I was getting like volcanoes. It was not the best. Sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. So if you are dealing with Soy 464, 415, 444, I would maybe try out
the double pour method and see if that helps cut down your time if you're struggling with bumpy tops. If you're not, then you know what you're doing. But this is something that has really, really helped me. And I did not pour at like milkshake consistency this time, but they still turned out smooth, as you saw. I think that's just because the temperature worked out. I was checking and making sure it got cool enough. So yeah, really, really happy that it cut down a lot of my time. I am also packing a bunch of orders right now, so I just wanted to say thank you so much before I head out for watching this video and seeing the behind the scenes of my last day or two. I hope to see you in another video very soon.